landforms known as desert landforms. So our topic is the arid landforms, the landforms made by wind, and therefore the name, if you remember the earlier lectures, Aeolian landforms, where the wind is one of the major agent of erosion. Now obviously the wind is a major agent of erosion in the desert only. Why? Because water is not present, even the ice is not present in the desert. Why? Because the deserts are the areas where nothing grows, which is a barren region where nothing grows, and aridity means dryness is one of the chief characteristics of a desert, and therefore these are also known as an arid landforms. So the deserts are the barren regions of the world where nothing grows in the world. In fact, our general idea of a desert is where the vast stretch of a sand, instead of water, sea of a sand is there, instead of ocean, sea of a water, there is a vast stretches of sand. But this is not how exactly the desert is. Geographical definition of a desert where nothing grows, and therefore because nothing grows, there are no speed breakers for the wind. That is, there are no wind breakers in the terms of large trees, and therefore such kind of here the wind becomes a major agent of erosion, and these landforms are mostly shaped by the winds. These are known as the desert landforms of the world. Now if we look at the first, before understanding the desert landforms of the world, if we look at the distribution of the deserts, there are two types of deserts in the world. One is the hot deserts of the world, and the other are the cold deserts of the world. So there are two major kind of deserts. One are the hot deserts, that is our general deserts, and the other are cold deserts. Now how to distinguish this, or how is there anything called as a cold desert? Yes, if you remember, in India itself, India is a vastly diverse climatic country. Rajasthan, what is it? It is a hot desert. Cold desert, Leh Ladakh plateau region, it is what? A cold desert. That is, again there nothing grows, but it is covered by just white sand, cold, extreme cold temperatures. Now why? Now coming at our general idea of a desert is generally an hot desert. So coming at the hot deserts of the world, if you look at the distribution of deserts on the world map, we'll see the deserts are located between some specific latitudes. That what are the specific latitudes of the location of a desert? These are if we consider this as a world map, then we will see that the deserts are located only at some specific latitudes. Most of the deserts, if this is the center of the world, that is the equator, most of the deserts are located between 15 degrees to 30 degrees in both the hemispheres. That is, they are located, if we see this, if we draw a diagram here considering 0 degrees, 30, 35 degrees, most of the deserts are located in this belt, in the 15 to 30 degree latitude. Now because we have not done the climatology, still I will give you an idea. This is the area where these are high pressure belt. That is, here the air is coming down. Now because the air is coming down on the person, we are feeling higher pressure, so they are known as a high pressure belt. On the other hand, this is area, the equator is an area of a low pressure, because here the air is going up. Therefore we are not feeling the pressure of an air, what we call in geography as a low pressure belt. So the areas are the high pressure, the deserts are the areas of high pressure belts located between some 15 to 13 degree latitude in both the hemispheres. So what are the major deserts of the world? These are the major deserts of the world. Now you see these are located on which side of the continent, except for Indian deserts. If you see the location of the deserts, they are having a specific kind of an location, that they are mostly located on which side, eastern side or the western side of the continents. What is their location? They are mostly located on west, its extension there, western side, even in India, the western side of the, but we are say of our country, not the continent. Now, why are the deserts located only on the western side? If you still study geography, when you study oceanography, we'll see that they are washed by currents which are cold currents. That is, they come from the polar regions and wash them. So water here is extremely cold. When we'll study the climatology, we will see that here the winds are blowing offshore. What do you mean by the winds are blowing offshore? That means the wind blows from the continent towards the sea. So, continents towards the ocean. So, here the wind is blowing offshore. That means the wind is blowing from the land towards the sea, not from sea towards the land. When the wind is blowing from sea towards the land, the wind brings moisture along with it. Because it is blowing over the sea, it takes up water vapors and it comes and hits the land and gives rainfall. But when the wind is blowing from the land towards the sea, when the wind is blowing in this way, that is from land towards the sea, the land is a dry region. Such a wind is known as offshore. Therefore, the wind does not have any kind of a moisture because it is originating in the dry region. Therefore, it is blowing offshore and such is a dry wind, and obviously the dry wind won't give any kind of an rainfall. So, the deserts are having three characteristics. These deserts are the hot deserts of the world. They lie in high pressure belt in the Horses latitude belt. We'll come to that in climatology. Now, in the high pressure belt, you remember there is no rainfall. And in the low pressure belt, there is a rainfall. Because for rainfall to occur, the air has to rise up. Because when it rises upwards, it gets cooled, and cooling results into formation of water vapor into water, and still rising and cooling results into water into ice. So the more air rises up, jitni hawa upar jayegi utni zyada barish hogi. On other hand, the air when it comes down, it gets heated up. Jitna zyada heating up, the more it gets heated up, it has more moisture holding capacity, and because of heating up, it can hold up more water. It does not, with more water, it does not give rainfall. Why? Because you consider cooling results into contraction. When you are contracting something, the ability of the vessel to hold something is reduced, and extra thing comes out from the vessel. But if the vessel is increasing because of heating, expansion, the ability of a vessel to hold the water will increase. Same thing you apply to the clouds. The clouds, when they are going upwards, they cool, and therefore they give up extra moisture in the form of rainfall. If they cool very much at a certain very high height, they give out extra moisture in the form of ice. But in the high pressure belt, we say the air does not go up, the air comes down, and when the air comes down, it gets warmed mein uska moisture holding capacity increases, and the air does not give any kind of an moisture. Therefore, in these regions, there is no rainfall. Second, what is the second chance of a rainfall? If the wind is blowing from sea towards the land, then it will bring some moisture and give a rainfall. But here, the wind is blowing from land towards the sea, therefore no rainfall. Third is cold currents. You will understand that what is the role of a cold current. Cold current also do not allow precipitation of rainfall or precipitation. That is, no rainfall is allowed by the cold current. Why it is, we'll take a look at it in the climatology. oceanography part. Now, these three are the chief characteristics of the deserts which lie in the between 30 to 35 degrees or between 15 to 30 degrees. Such kind of deserts are known as hot deserts, because this is the 30 degrees, the hot desert belt of the world. So these deserts are known as the hot deserts. Now, why there are hot deserts, or what we can say location? On the basis of location, you remember the 3 points of the hot deserts. First, they lie in the high pressure belt known as Horses latitude, or we can say they lie in a high pressure belt. The second is they lie in the belt zone of offshore trade winds, or the trade winds blow from land towards the sea, that is the trade winds are offshore. जमीन से समंदर की तरफ पानी जा रहा है, इसलिए air is very dry. And the third is they are washed by the cold currents. These are the characteristics of the hot deserts, and therefore they are always located on the western side of the continents. Why not eastern side? Because you see the trade winds are blowing will always blow from east towards the west. If they are blowing from east towards the west, the eastern side will always get rainfall. Till the time they reach western side, there is no amount of water, there is no source of extra water on the land. There is no sea in between, and therefore they do not have a source of moisture. Till the time they reach the western side, they are exhausted of any amount of moisture, and therefore no rainfall. Same thing happens in Rajasthan region, that is water comes from here, gives very heavy rainfall, monsoon winds to the eastern coast, and जैसे जैसे अंदर आता है, that is the more it goes to the interiors of the India, there is less and less rainfall because exhaustion of moisture. And till the time it reaches Delhi, most of the moisture has been exhausted, and till the time it reaches in Rajasthan, there is no moisture. So the northwestern part of India gets very, very less rainfall because there is no source, and all the trade winds, all the winds are offshore. On other hand, had these locations been in the eastern side of the continents, then obviously there would have not been deserts. This in the climatology we will understand, and you have this in the climatology, we will get that we will have these are all the areas of continuous rainfall in the world. So okay, so what are the characteristics of the hot deserts? Now what are these hot deserts? So before that, what are the characteristics of the hot deserts? And they are known as trade wind deserts because they lie in the trade wind belt. So hot deserts or the trade wind deserts lie in the high pressure belt, trade winds blow offshore, and the third is they are washed by cold currents. They are washed by cold current. So these are the three reasons why the deserts are located on the western side of the continents. Such deserts are known as hot deserts, or they are known as the trade wind deserts. Trade wind deserts. So these are the trade wind deserts. They lie in the high pressure belt on the western side of the continents where the trade winds blow offshore, and they are washed by the cold currents. Now, if we look at the different kind of deserts, what are the different deserts? These are the Mojave Desert, USA. It is the Sonoran Desert, Mexico. There is, forget about these black lines, they were just to show you the trade winds. This is Atacama Desert, South America in Chile, the driest desert in the world, जहाँ पे the rainfall is just 5 centimeters. It is the driest desert in the world. Now you know the other kind of a desert, Sahara Desert. The biggest desert. This is the Arabian Desert associated with Arabian Nights. This is Kalahari Desert. This is the Kalahari Desert. Namib Desert. Namib Desert. West Australian Desert. Or we can just write the Great Australian Desert. Australian Desert. And the desert of India, that is the Thar Desert. Thar Desert. Now Mojave Desert is in which state of USA? Where is the Silicon Valley situated? Where is the Hollywood situated? Los Angeles, it lies in the California. It is entirely a desert region. Not entirely, so most of the parts of the California is a desert region. Los Angeles is a desert. You just see the progress these countries have made, that they have converted the deserts into one of the biggest entertainment centers of the world. So, the different kinds of a desert. Now for the match the column, they may ask you which of the following deserts are washed by the which cold currents. So the blue marks the cold currents, and I am writing in blue so that you will understand. The North American desert and the Mexican desert are washed by California current. This Atacama Desert is washed by the famous current known as Peruvian current. Why I say famous current? Because it decides the famous and one of the most important aspects of Indian monsoon. This current can affect our monsoon. This current can affect our economy in the terms of El Nino and La Nina. So the Peruvian desert, and because it was discovered by Humboldt, it is known as Humboldt current. The Sahara Desert, obviously you know, it is washed by the Canaries current. The Namib Desert is washed by Venezuela current. It is washed by Venezuela current. Now Kalahari Desert, obviously the same part. Why it is famous? The famous movie is based on this. It is where the diamonds are found, and the blood diamond is based on the story here of the Kalahari Desert. Australian Desert is washed by West Australian current. West Australian current. So we are answering here 3 questions. The first question is why the deserts are located on the western side of the continents. The second question is desert and the countries, deserts and the continents, and the third question is the desert and the match the column corresponding cold currents. So Mojave Desert or Sonoran Desert by the Californian current, Atacama Desert, the driest desert in the world, by the Peruvian current, Arabian Desert, Sahara Desert by the Canary current, Namib Desert by Venezuela current. So Venezuela current is found where? It is found in Africa. Which part of Africa? The southern part of Africa, that is after the equator. West Australian desert by the West Australian current. And as I told you, these all are the cold currents. So you are answering one more question here, the fourth one, which of the following are the cold currents? So what you find here are the cold currents. Draw this diagram. Now, on the other hand, there are some of the deserts which are found on the leeward side of a mountain. What do you mean by leeward side of a mountain? That if this is a mountain, the mountain is so high, that is the winds cannot cross the mountain, wind which come, they cannot cross the mountain and give rainfall here. Even if they cross the mountain, while crossing the mountain, they rise upwards. They raise upwards, creating a low pressure belt, and as I told you, they gave very, very heavy rainfall on this side of a mountain, that is on the windward side of a mountain. But the other side, this side is known as leeward side, which does not face the wind. The leeward side does not get any rainfall. Why it does not get any rainfall? Because while rising here, the winds will give rainfall. It will result into formation of a cloud. It will give very heavy rainfall because there is decrease in the temperature. But while crossing the mountain, the wind will come down. Coming down, increase in the temperature, and as I told you, it develops into a high pressure belt, and therefore no rainfall in this region. So it does not give any kind of an rainfall in this region. Therefore, these are the dry regions. So can we say that the Western Ghats, the western side of the Western Ghats gets very, very heavy rainfall? Is this analogy true? Or is this reason true that it lies on the windward side? Yes. And is there a semi-arid region in the eastern side of the Western Ghats where there is no rainfall? Yes, there is. In fact, regular issue, farmer suicide issue, agriculture crisis, where it is on the eastern side of the Western Ghats, because as you move towards the east from the Western Ghats, the amount of rainfall goes on decreasing, and therefore one of the geographical factor, this is one of the geographical factor that this area does not get rainfall because it lies on the which side of the Western Ghats? Leeward side. Similarly, there are many deserts. There are some of the deserts which lie so much in the interior of the continents that till the time winds reach there is no moisture for the winds to give rainfall. One of this desert, I will mark this in red color, these deserts are Patagonia Desert. So already marked in red, I will mark in black color. These deserts are the Patagonia Desert. Turkestan Desert. And Gobi Desert. Why is the Patagonia Desert? Which is the mountain system here? Andes mountain system. So the winds, this is a trade wind belt, this is a westerly wind belt. Trade winds are from east towards the west. Westerly is from west towards the east. So the westerly winds cannot cross the mountains and is resulting into, now they do not lie in the tropical belt, they lie in higher latitudes, temperate belt, and therefore there are cold deserts. So it results into Patagonia Desert. It results into Turkestan Desert. It results into Gobi Desert of Which country? Mongolia. One of the important current affairs based. This year Prime Minister visited Mongolia, and in fact he was presented a horse which he did not bring to India. So these are the, now if the question is why is this effect, this is due to the rain shadow effect. Such deserts are too much in the interior of the continents, and these are known as continental deserts. Now the Patagonia desert is due to the rain shadow effect of the Andes mountain system. So the rain shadow, Leeward Side is a rain shadow zone. And therefore does not receive the rainfall. It is a rain shadow zone and therefore does not receive the rainfall. So it does not receive the rainfall. So the Patagonia desert, this desert is due to the rain shadow effect of the Andes. Now you see here there are numerous mountains, Himalayas, Tian Shan, Kunlun Shan, Altai Shan, Pamir Knot. There are numerous mountains here, and therefore the winds also cannot go to the interiors, resulting into the desert of Central Asia. Now this covers the country of Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. This entire region was the region of Turks, people of Turk origin. Therefore it was once upon a time known as Turkestan. So this desert is known as a desert of Turkestan, or what we say as the desert of Central Asia. And this desert is the Gobi desert of Mongolia. So these are the mid-continental deserts, or because they lie high up in the latitudes, they are known as the mid-latitude desert. So the second kind of a desert are the continental or mid-latitude deserts. So the second type of the deserts are one we have done are the hot deserts, while the second one are the cold deserts. Why cold? Because extremes of temperature is seen. These are known as mid-latitude deserts or continental deserts. Example is the Patagonia desert due to rain shadow effect of the Andes. Due to the rain shadow effect of the Andes. Due to the rain shadow effect of the Andes. These are known as mid-latitude or continental desert. Now these are the two types of deserts. Now based on the landscape can we divide, as I said you, what is our general idea of a desert? That it is a sea of a sand. But what is the geographical definition? Is there a sea of sand in Ladakh? Is there a sea of sand all over the Rajasthan? Or sand is there only in the western part of Rajasthan, Jaisalmer, Bikaner district? That is, the desert does not necessarily mean the sea of a sand. In fact, desert is any area where nothing can grow. So the types of the desert landscapes are based on landscape. That is, how does the land look like? We have Hamada, or rocky deserts, or what we say, it is a rocky desert. What do you mean by rocky desert? Large rocks, Grand Canyon, if you must have seen the movie 127 hours, many movies, large rocks are seen, nothing is seen there, just bare large rocks. Such deserts are known as a rocky desert. which consists of bare, large rocks. Bare, large rocks. The second one is an stony desert. It is a stony desert. And it is known as the reg or stony desert. Instead of rocks here, there will be small stones, pebbles will be there. That is not big, no larger rocks, but the pebbles will be there in this regions. Why they are formed? Large rocks cannot be moved by the air. Pebbles roll along the ground by the strong winds. Sands, they flow along with the wind. So rocks are swept clear, pebbles are deposited somewhere, sand is deposited far away. So further away the sand is being deposited, resulting into formation of a three kind of a desert based on the wind or action of the wind. Such a stony desert is known as, in the Egypt and Libya, it is known as such a stony desert in the Egypt and Libya is known as Serir, Serir. Such a desert in Egypt and Libya is known as an Serir. So what is a reg? Don't get confused with an Hindi word. Reg, reth is sand, but यहाँ पे in the desert is reg, is a stony desert, not a sandy desert. Now the third is erg. Now this is our general idea of a desert, that it is a sandy desert. It is a sandy desert that is made up of large undulating sand dunes. It is an sandy desert, means sea of a sand here. It is just made up of sand, a sea of a sand. Two more terms. One is a badland topography. One is a badland topography. What is this badland topography? This badland topography means in the areas where there is no vegetation or very less vegetation is there. And the areas why there is less vegetation, it means that it is not getting any kind of an rainfall. So in such an areas, when the rain occurs, because the soil cover is loose, soil takes away much of the rainwater, surface runoff, as we said, seasonal rivers, surface runoff takes away much of the soil. More and more soil gets washed away with the rainwater, resulting into formation of large cracks, large grooves, large not exactly depression, large grooves we can say in the desert. These are known as gullies and ravines. Gully and ravines. So it results into such an area which there is a gully and ravine. It is not fit for human settlement. It is not fit for agriculture. Such a topography is known as a badland topography. Which area in India is famous as a badland topography? The area of Chambal ki Ghatiya, or the Chambal Basin is famous for an badland topography. In USA also such a topography is named as badland topography. So the name we are calling here is badland. So the badland topography, semi-arid regions of India, semi-arid regions of the world. So whenever there is rainfall, there is gully erosion, there is a ravine erosion. What are these gullies and ravines? We'll study while doing Indian geography. So it results into formation of an badland topography. That is erosion leads to gullies and ravines. Erosion leads to the formation of gullies and ravines. Erosion leads to the formation of ravines, gullies and ravines. So these are the different kinds of topographies based. Now just to show you the top three. Large stones, wind will wash away the stones of the whatever this is there, then the size of the stones will go on reducing. It will be mostly pebbles, and then later on mostly sands in the form of sand dunes. So Hamada, Reg and Erg desert. So it is the Hamada, Reg and the Erg desert. Now how does the erosion in the deserts take place? The desert, obviously the desert landform are due to both erosion and weathering. Weathering will first weaken the landforms, erosion will transport the landforms. So how does the desert erosion takes place? Very different from the fluvial erosion. Or we can say the process of desert erosion. The process of a desert erosion. Now the process of a desert erosion, you look here, if this is an sand which is present here, this entire is a landform which is made up of sand. Now if the wind is blowing through this landform, it will obviously remove the sand. जब भी तेज हवा चलती है, can we see it? We cannot see, visibility reduced, क्योंकि हवा में बहुत ज्यादा dust particles are there, हवा में बहुत ज्यादा धूल मिट्टी होती है. Why? Because the more stronger the wind becomes, it has more erosive power. It takes away in whatever comes in its path. Generally, but it does not happen that आप जा रहे हो and suddenly a rock comes and hits you. You are not that. It is not present that when there is an extremely strong wind, you are advised to go wear helmet and go. No. Obviously, you will protect your eyes, you will cover your nose because the dust particles are there. Such strong winds are common in the desert region, but that does not mean they will take the rock. When the wind becomes so much powerful, it becomes powerful during cyclones, it becomes powerful during tornadoes, which we are going to study in the climatology, that they can uproot the houses also and take it. But generally, the stronger the wind, more faster the wind, it is more dusty, it is more sandy. So the wind will blow here, the topmost layer of the sands. It will keep on blowing the topmost layer of the sands. This process results into formation of an hole-like process. Such is known as a process of a deflation. So what is the process of a deflation? Blowing away. How does the desert erosion takes place? By the process of deflation. Deflation is the process in the deserts, that is blowing away of the sand. The second is the sand. When the strong wind is blowing, आंधी जब चल रही है, then obviously we are hurt by the small particles which are there in the winds. Unfortunately, in the areas which are habitable, that is where people live, आंधी रोज नहीं चलती. But in the desert region, because there is no tree, such a strong winds always carry the sand particles, and the sand particles, they come and hit if the sand particle, this is a rock, they will come and hit the rock, and as a result they will keep on eroding the rock. Such effect is known as a sand blasting effect. So the second process of a desert erosion is and sand blasting or abrasion. And the third process is attrition. Attrition. So here what is the deflation? Deflation is lifting and blowing away of the loose materials by the winds. Loose materials by the wind. What is sand blasting? Sand blasting is when the process of abrasion, that is the sand particles come and hit the rock. हमने already किया है. What is an abrasion? When the particles come and hit the bank of a river, that is abrasion. So river in the process of water, in the process of wind, abrasion will be some other particle coming and hitting the stable structure. So rock is a stable structure in the wind. So the particle coming and hitting the winds. So sand blasting is sand particles is the process of abrasion, where sand particles carried by the wind hit the rock. Hit the rocks. Now sand blasting, again as I told you, sand blasting mein it will never happen that the sand particles or the rock particles will come and hit your top. Here the wind has a limited power. Wind is very, very strong agent of erosion near the ground surface, but as you are going up, the wind does not become that much strong agent of erosion. Why? Because the wind does not have power to lift like water, like glacier. Wind does not have power to take the particles along with it. Wind will lift the sand. The bigger stones will roll in the wind, but it won't come and fly with the wind. So as a result, sand blasting is effective only at a certain depth or at a certain height from the ground surface, generally 180 centimeter, maximum 3 feet, 6 feet from the ground surface. Maximum we can say is a 3 feet from the ground surface. Therefore, if you notice next time, even if you go in the arid Rajasthan region or arid or semi-arid regions of India, you will see the poles, electric poles. They are covered by metal castings. That is, they are covered by metal only on the lower part. The same thing will happen if you go to the Leeward side of a Western Ghat. That is the semi-arid regions of the peninsular plateau. So therefore, why the metal, though not related to geography, but why the poles, electric poles or telephone poles or any other poles are covered by metal casting? Because the sand blasting is effective only near the ground surface, at a certain height from the ground surface, because the sand is an agent of an erosion, effective agent of erosion only near the ground surface. The third is attrition. Now what was attrition, if you remember? When the particles rub against each other, because of constant rubbing they get reduced into minor pieces, that is an attrition. So what is attrition here? Wear and tear of particles because as they rub against each other. as they rub against each other. The wear and tear of the particles as they rub against each other is the attrition. Now you find the odd one out. Sandblasting or abrasion, was it present in the wind or wind cycle of erosion? In the fluvial cycle of erosion, yes. It is present even in the wind. Attrition, was it present in the fluvial cycle of erosion? Yes, it is present even in the wind. What is the different here is a deflation. What was different in the fluvial cycle of erosion was a solution. Wind cannot dissolve, water cannot deflate. So this you remember, wind is associated with deflation. That is a different thing. Water is associated with the solution. So these are the two different types of the process of the desert erosion. Now coming to the desert erosion, there will be some very, very interesting landforms made by the desert erosion. So we will again study the landforms in the terms of erosional landforms and in the terms of depositional landforms. Erosional landforms and depositional landforms. And again, I don't expect much questions in the mains examination from this. So we will just have an overlook of what is an erosional landform, what is a depositional landform. If you want extra material, then you can refer to the NCERTs also. But what I will give is more than sufficient for writing an answer also. That is, if they won't ask you write a short note in 200 words only on one specific landforms, they will ask you either, if they ask you what do you mean by desert erosion, what are the different kind of landforms in the desert. So the first kind of an erosional landform, again a very, very interesting landform made by the deserts. How to make a geography interesting? Next time when you travel, first thing is the traveling is one of the biggest teacher in geography. So whenever you will travel, just have a look at the surrounding landforms. Try to guess what are the different landforms. When we'll finish climatology, have a look at the clouds and see, try to guess what are the clouds, but don't just keep on looking at the clouds also. Okay. So what are the different kinds of an erosional landforms? The first is erosional landform. The first kind of an erosional landform, one of the best kind of an erosional landform, is the mushroom rock. Mushroom rock. Now you see, this is a very interesting landform because it is found, if this is an entire rock structure found in the desert region on the ground, this is a ground surface. As I told you, the desert is an area where the wind is the most effective agent of an erosion. And because the wind is the most effective agent of an erosion, there are two characteristics of wind. First, the wind is an effective agent of erosion only at a certain height from the ground surface. The second is, wind does not have any direction. Unlike water flows only in one direction. इसलिए water का erosion will be only in one direction. Headward erosion means that way only. If this is a channel, it will be the channel of a wind unless some tectonic activity occurs or due to flooding the wind changes its shape. But V-shaped valleys will be V-shaped. They will go linearly. It won't be V-shaped valley. आज यहाँ पे कल ऐसे जा रही है, फिर ऐसे जा रही है. it is going straight V-shaped valley, but the wind does not have any direction. That is why the wind erosion, wind will erode this rock from all the sides, and as a result of this, first thing is the wind will flow from all directions. The second thing is wind will erode, or maximum erosion will occur at the base of a rock, and therefore the rock will be formed somewhat like this. Such kind of a rock looks like an umbrella shaped or looks like a mushroom shaped rock, so that you can even stand sometimes below the rock, resulting into an kind of a rock known as a mushroom rock. So why? Because it is a mushroom shaped rock. Such a kind of a landform is known as mushroom shaped rock. Now, why is the mushroom shaped rock found? Mushroom shaped rock is found because wind erodes the base of a rock from all sides. Now, why does it erode the base of a rock? Because the wind is an active agent of, or we will write this two as different points, base of a rock, because wind is most powerful agent. Only till certain height from the ground, and the second is because the wind does not have any direction, because wind does not have any direction. Any specific direction. Therefore, the base of a rock is eroded from all sides. It results into formation of an interesting feature which is known as an mushroom rock or rock pedestal or guar in Sahara Desert, in the Sahara Desert. Are you getting why this kind of a rock has been transferred to such shape? Because first, only the base will be maximum eroded, and the second is because wind is the most powerful agent only till a certain height from the ground. Therefore, the wind erodes the base only, and because it does not have any specific direction, therefore eroded from all sides. Such is known as a rock pedestal or guar in Sahara Desert or mushroom rocks. Such kind of rocks are known as mushroom rocks or guar or rock pedestals. The second kind of an erosion is, suppose there is an second kind of an erosional landform is Zugan. Now this is again a different, very interesting kind of an rank form. Now it consists of horizontally bedded, that is the horizontal soft rocks, horizontal layers of horizontally bedded alternate layers of soft hard rocks, and as a result of this you see how the rock surface is. It consists of a rock in which there is a layer of softer rock, then hard rock, softer rock and hard rock. So the first layer is the layer of a soft rock, this is a layer of hard rock, this is layer of soft rock, this is a layer of a hard rock, layer of a hard rock. Or you can say it can be even otherwise, that is there can be a layer of an hard rock, there can be a layer of an hard rock followed by soft rock again and hard rock. Hard rock, soft rock, and I will just show you one more layer here, that is again an hard rock. So Zugan is a kind of a topography when there is an alternate arrangement of hard and soft rock in which manner? Horizontal or vertical manner? Horizontal manner. This is an horizontal manner. Why I am saying horizontal or vertical manner? Because we are going to do one more topography later on. As a result of this, the wind will start eroding the hard rock little bit. The hard rock will get eroded, and therefore there will be erosion of an hard rock somewhere. Now when the soft rock is exposed, obviously the soft rock will be eroded much greater than the hard rock. Again the hard rock will be eroded much lesser than the soft rock. Same thing will happen here. Soft rock will be eroded much greater than the hard rock. So there is an alternate layer of hard, then soft, and then again hard rocks. And due to differential erosion, it will result into formation of a topography which looks like a formation of a topography which looks like a bottle of an ink. Such an interesting topography is known as Zugan. Now what is the importance? This Zugan serve as important highways, because they will look, if we draw in the 3D, if we try to look in the 3D diagram, they will look somewhat like this. Look somewhat like this. So this parts, the middle way which are here, They will serve as an highways. They will serve as the ways through which you can go. Now, from the exam point of view, what you have to remember, do not draw this 3D diagram. You can write Zugan is a erosional landform. Erosional landform in which there is alternate arrangement of layer of hard and soft rocks. Hard and soft rocks in horizontal manner. In an horizontal manner. As a result of which it gives differential arrangement. Differential erosion of hard and soft rocks. Does what? Gives rise to ridge, mountain-like structure. It gives rise to ridge and furrow landscape. It gives rise to ridge and furrow. मतलब पहाड़ और रास्ता, ridge and furrow landscape. Or it gives rise to capped ink bottle topography. It gives rise to capped inked bottle topography. Gives rise to capped ink bottle topography. So, what you have to remember in the Zugan? Again, is when remember Z mein line is horizontal, so there is alternate arrangement of hard and soft rocks in an horizontal manner, which results into capped ink bottle topography. Why? Because there is a differential erosion of hard and soft rocks. We have already done that there is a differential erosion of an hard and soft rocks. Now come to the third kind of an topography, that is an yardang. Come to the third kind of a topography, that is yardang. How do you write capital Y? This way. Now looking at the lower line of a Y, you remember just some shortcuts. They will help you in the preliminary examination. You remember when there is alternate arrangement of hard and soft rocks in an vertical manner. Y mein line is vertical, Z mein line is horizontal. In a vertical manner, the differential erosion gives rise to a topography which is known as yardang. Now look here how it will look like. In the yardang, there is an alternate arrangement of layer of hard rocks, soft rocks. Again hard rock, soft rock, hard rock. I'll draw it little bit lower. In this there is an alternate arrangement of layer of an hard rock, soft rock, hard rock, soft rock, hard rock, soft rock. In which manner? In the horizontal manner. This is an hard rock, this is a soft rock. This is again hard rock H, soft rock S. Hard, soft, hard. As a result of this, what will happen? Which rock will be eroded much faster? The softer rocks will be eroded much faster as compared to the harder rocks. So obviously the harder rocks will also get eroded, but the softer rocks will get eroded much faster. Again the harder rocks will be eroded, but the softer rocks will get eroded much faster. Again the harder rocks will be eroded and the softer rocks will get eroded much faster as compared to the harder rock. So it will result into a kind of an topography which looks like an layer of alternate arrangement of hard and soft rock. Now if I try to draw it in 3D, will it look like this? That is, there is a ridge here, of hard rocks, then there is a layer of soft rocks, then again hard rocks, then there is a layer of soft rocks, hard rocks, soft rock, hard rock, again and soft rock. Hard rock and soft rock. So there will be differential arrangement of hard, soft, hard rocks. Such kind of a topography in which it looks like a mountain, then road, mountain, road, mountain, road. So such kind of an arrangement, soft rocks are eroded away to give rise to an natural highway in the desert. Such kind of an are known as an yardangs. So what are the yardangs? They are similar to ridge and furrow landscape in Zugan. The only difference is here there is alternate arrangement of hard and soft rocks in vertical manner. In vertical manner. In the vertical manner. So they will have steep sides separating narrow corridors. Steep sides separating the narrow corridors. We'll have steep sides separating the narrow corridors. These are known as an yardangs.